All right, guys, we are live, episode 137 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight here. Co-host in the house, Jennifer Seymour's back.
Hello. After a week off.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff going on over there. Nikki Clevenger's in the house. What's going on, Nikki?
Hey.
And our star guest of the hour, hopefully she's not too nervous. She's been on one of these live shows before, so I don't think it's not that bad. So we got Regina Milkovich. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
I got it. Boom.
No, you didn't. She's being nice.
Damn. It's not even that hard. It's not even that hard to say, but I don't know. When it comes down to it live, you know, I said it perfect in the pre-show, and then there it is.
Like I said, you mess up Smith.
Oh, man. That's bad. Yeah. I'll never get hired on a professional radio station, I'll tell you that. Well, we'll see. We got a lot of good stuff talking about. We're going to talk a lot about PRS long-range game, something that we're all interested in here. I think Nikki hasn't shot past 500, even in all the three-gun matches. Jen, is that the same?
Not in a match. No,
Not in a match?
I've gone and tried to shoot 880, but never in a match. 500's furthest I think I've shot to.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a lot about this. The Q&A section, for those of you guys who are interested, want to get a question live throughout the show, bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Q&A, join the conversation thing. It'll open up a screen. You can ask your Q&A live using that. If that's not working or you just care to use Facebook, you can go to the Shooter's Mindset on Facebook, and in the comment section there's a post like Ask Your Questions here. You can post in the comment section there. Jen will pull them, and we'll get them over to Regina throughout the show here. All right, show sponsors. Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com for your tactical shit needs. I know they are really doing really well with the AR-15 drop-in trigger that they have, and that's called the Bang Switch over there, so definitely go check that out. We have a discount code for them, and we'll announce that later on in the show, so check out shop.tacticalshit. Also, TechWear USA for the fine competition jerseys. They have the TechWell system, and they have, for all you single-stack shooters, TechWell, Magwell, and a grip, all one unit. Really works extremely well. Also, we have Brett Russo, who's always been a big supporter of the show. Thanks for showing us some support there, bud. So go check out those people. Also, we have theshootersmindset.com is now officially streaming live. So theshootersmindset.com. We're not even going to post the YouTube links after this week. It's just going to all go through theshootersmindset.com. So it's going to be real easy to watch the live through there. Also, the Shooter's Mindset app, if you don't have it if you would like to watch from the convenience of your cell phone, Apple, Android devices, you can download the Shooter's Mindset app, and we'll have Regina's face, boom, on the homepage, so you guys can watch when you're at work and get in trouble. All right. I guess we can kick this one off here. Regina, for those who aren't familiar with you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you get involved in shooting sports?
I was tricked. Not really. My husband shoots a lot of 3-gun and pistol, so he dragged me to a bunch of matches with him and said, "Do you want to do that?" I said, No, it's too fast. Too many bells and whistles, especially 3-gun. 3-gun's really overwhelming when you don't have any experience at all with shooting, and I didn't when I met him. We were dating, and I broke my wrist while he was at SHOT Show. Sake bombers are bad. So that's how that happened. So we had a big match that February, and he said, "Well, I need you to come help out, so I'm going to put you on a spotting scope," and had me spotting a target that was like 400 yards away, which now to me is nothing, but at the time I was super impressed that these guys were hitting it consistently, and that the guys were all really nice and welcoming and didn't yell at me if I messed up. So I got hooked right from there watching that. So we went and bought a 223 for me about 8-9 months later, and he took me to the range, showed me how to use it, went through all the safety stuff with it, and then told me I was shooting a match the next day. So I've never known like any time to just go play at the range and plink. Everything was always competition right from the get-go. So, and that was in 2009, the very end of 2009. My first big like PRS style match, because it was before the PRS, was in 2010. So I've been shooting since then.
There you go. Since 2009, as you got in there, been shooting. That's quite a bit. And a lot of people, I think I've been doing it for like 4 years now, Jen. Where you shorter than that, right?
Yeah, I started 3-gun in 2014. I did a little bit of pistol in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've been at it for a little bit. So you shot your first PRS match, and now you're in 2009, 2010, and now you're the top lady PRS shooter pretty much there is.
Well,
that correct?
I have been since the PRS was created in 2012. I was the only female to make it to the finale that year, the inaugural year, and I ended up 28th in that match and 20th for the season that year. 2013 and 14, I had some equipment issues, so I didn't finish quite as well, but I was still the top female. And last year, top female again. I think I was 59th overall out of like 400 shooters or something in the season. And this year I'm currently sitting at 7th out of almost 600 shooters, I think. So, and that's still
Very
still
impressive.
a top female. So
There you go. That's something. That's definitely an ego booster there. I know if I was a top at anything right now, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be talking about it. You wouldn't be able to shut me up.
You wouldn't be able to shut him up. He's not kidding.
Hold on. What
Is
did
that
I
your
say?
top media? What are you talking
Well,
about?
no, High Media,
Media.
2014, right there. High Media. I was the only one in this division, so yeah. But I still have it. I'll probably hang it up back there so I can look like all the pro shooters and have all their awards back there. I don't know. We'll figure that one out. Yeah, so I mean, this first place win right here at the NorCal Tactical Bolt Rifle Challenge. This was the big win for you, right?
yeah. The very first match I shot in 2010, like the first big tactical precision style match that I shot was that match in 2010, and I finished 58th out of 59 shooters. I'm left-handed, and my gun wasn't ready yet, and a 223 was too small to take there because they were shooting out to 1,000 yards, and I had a 1 in 12 twist. I can only shoot 55 grain bullets, so I borrowed my husband's 308 and shot like crap. So
Yeah, you got to crawl before you walk. So you get
Right.
58 out of 59 shooters, and this past 2 months ago, I think this was at the end of April. This match you get first in this match. So you go from 58th, almost last, to now first.
Yep. Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. I've been doing a lot of goal setting lately, and got really close in February at the Bushnell Brawl at Rifles Only. I was second there by 1 point. I tied with this guy named Morgan Lamprecht, who's actually a pretty good friend of mine. He was one point ahead of me, so if I tied him, I would have beat him on the tiebreaker stages. So I like to rub that in a little bit, Morgan. I know he's watching, so. But so it was close there. So I wanted to make sure I got one this year, one win.
There you go. Well, you pretty much go in the history books with that win, so that's a pretty big deal. I mean, when you saw the results, I mean, before you saw the results, how did you feel? You feel like it was a really successful match for you, thought you did well, and then when you saw the results and saw that you were first lady, I mean, what was your reaction there?
Well, I wasn't sure. There were a couple of guys out of NorCal that shoot really well, and then Jake Vibbert out of Washington was pretty close to the top also. Day one, I felt great. I had the high score on steel, so that's usually where you win that match at. Day two, I stumbled a little bit on a couple of the stages, but I wasn't sure because the scores were pretty tight, I thought. And the match director and the former match director pulled me aside and told me, they said, "Hey man, how's it feel to make history? You just became not only the first woman to win our match, but the first woman to win any PRS match." And I swore a little bit, and 'cause I was pretty excited about it. And then I had to keep quiet till they posted the scores because they weren't up yet. So.
Boom, yeah. I mean, that's
Awesome.
celebration. Drinks out of a Yeti cup.
Yeah. There were quite a few drinks that night.
Yeah, for real. I mean, Jen, you actually just shot a match. You want to talk about your long-range match that you just shot that you did pretty well in?
So I went and shot a DMR match, which is not exactly PRS, but I didn't know at all what I was getting into. I have a friend, Joe Cayley, that does long range, and Justin Vitito both do long range, and they've both said, you should come shoot, blah, blah. So there was the match up at Creekside, and so I said, well, I'll go try that out and just see. I'll probably do horrible, but I'll just see what it is. I had no clue. Literally, like, the first stage, I'm like, so it's timed, like, whoever's fastest? And they're like, well, I mean, it's timed. You have 2 minutes to do it. I'm like, well, all stages have a par time, but, like, they're like, no, I mean, you can take 1 minute and 59 seconds and be the same as somebody that took 59 seconds. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, you have 30 rounds and 2 minutes to shoot those 10 targets. And I was like, okay. It's at 200 yards. I'm like, well, okay, I can probably do that. And they're like, and the gun has to be at 90 degrees. And I was like, oh, God. So we were like under a table with the gun turned 90 degrees, so the scope is laying down to the side. And I've never shot my rifle 90 degrees. If you've never done it, you should definitely go try, because I'm sure it's very easy for you, Regina, but for me, who's never really done much long range at all, I think I've had 2 matches that had some long range in it, and that's all I've ever done because I don't have anywhere to shoot long range here.
Well, Jennifer, you just sent shivers down the spine of every guy who's ever shot one of our matches in Arizona by saying 90 degree. They all remember that and hate it.
Oh, it was horrible. And I was like, wait. And just trying to wrap my brain around where my hold should be, I'm like, wait a minute. So now the scope is to the left of where it normally is, and it's 2 inches lower than it normally is. And, oh, it was very nerve-wracking. But on that stage, I got 4 of the targets. So I was happy, because there were some people that got up there and didn't hit any. And then there were some that got up there and cleared it. But I don't think, well, maybe nobody actually cleared all of it, but some got most of them at least. And these targets were little. I'm sure not to you, Regina, but to me it was little, like a 4-inch plate. I'm like, 4 inches? That's 200 yards.
That's a small plate.
That's pretty small. Yeah.
That's 200 yards. Wait, how many inches?
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Like a 4x8, and then we had like the little popper that, like, I don't know, through my scope he looked like that big. Well, I only had a 1x6 scope, so we did that stage. Then we did a stage that was on shooting sticks that were completely unstable, and it was 200-yard shots. And the video, which I need to post, is really funny because I had made a plan to shoot the biggest ones first, and then there was like a really small one to the left, and I'm like, well, I won't even get to that one. I'll run out of time before I get to that one. I'm not worried about that. So I had watched all these people not finish it. So I finished all these. I was like, well, I'll shoot at the one on the left. And they called hit twice, and I literally turned around and went, shut up, I hit them all? Because I was totally shocked. And then we had a 375 stage. I think I was 6th on that one, because it was actually timed, and I cleared all of it, and I had the 6th fastest time on that one. And then we had 2 500-yard stages.
So it's funny because Jen says that her weak point in 3-gun is long range, and she goes out to a DMR match and cleans house.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a weak spot.
So a 1-6 with a 100-yard zero.
I know. I was like, maybe I need to. Well, I zero at 50, and then I check it at 200. But
okay.
Still, when you get out to 500, I was like,
oh yeah, 50 with 200 yards. Yeah, that's right.
Way high on there, but it's fun. Like, I love it, and I love the thinking of it. So I might have to do more long range. So I need to find some matches around here, because I kind of got the itch now. Like, that's really fun. I love, like, pulling the trigger and hearing them go hit, and then, like, 2 seconds later hearing ping. Like,
yeah.
Man, it just makes me want to giggle. Like, I can't even keep everything still to shoot the next round because it makes me want to giggle, because I love it.
There you go. So you got a hooked long-range shooter right now.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think, and we've talked about this, I've talked about this with friends, so Regina, why do you think that women are good at long range? Because I've heard a lot of people that are like, women are just naturally better at it seems like, or able to, I don't know, but a lot of women, first off, do very, very well with it. Why do you think that is? Even
with pistol, I see it.
Well, yeah, we don't come with any preconceived notions. Normally, we might have grown up playing video games, but it's not nonstop, so no Rambo complex. And we can put our ego aside if we don't know how to do something. So if you ask somebody, hey, how do I do that? And you get 3 or 4 answers, you pick the one that works best for you. But I've seen a lot of guys at ranges that ask a question, you give them an answer, and then they argue with you. I'm like, well, don't ask me that.
I know, really.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you think that long-range rifle is more fair towards women? Because in 3-gun, there's a lot of physical running, carrying stuff. I did see that one stage on your YouTube where you had to drag that one dummy, but other than that match, I mean, for the most part, women and men can be pretty equal when you slow down and have to pull the trigger on a long-distance rifle as opposed to trying to offhand shoot a plate rack or something like that. You think it's a more fair sport?
I don't know about that, but most of the precision rifle stuff, I mean, like there's F class in Palma, and a lot of the stuff that like where Annette Wachter's background is, most of that stuff is not super physical. The PRS style stuff, it got a lot of its start kind of in a combination of hunting, so there's a little bit of prone in there, but outside of a couple of matches that really focus on prone, it's all based on three-gun backgrounds. So a lot of the match directors come from three-gun backgrounds, so they use some of that stuff for their stage design. So there's a lot of running and gunning, carrying a 17, 18-pound rifle, maybe have a couple of pistol shots in some of the matches. There's also a lot of military and law enforcement that transitioned into competitive shooting sports. So like K&M and Corps, they've got a real heavy background with military background. So Rifles Only trains a bunch of LE and military guys. So a lot of that stuff are based on real life scenarios. So shooting off of toilets and running through tubes and up and down what they call a mousetrap, or through like Connex boxes and shoot houses and stuff. So I don't know that there's necessarily more of an advantage for women getting into precision rifle over three-gun, but I know three-gun's a lot faster because you're working on beating a clock, and precision rifle, there's not so much that. I mean, Jennifer's right, you've got a par time, so you might have 2 minutes to get 10 rounds off or whatever. So if your rifle's super heavy, or you're not watching your breathing or your heart rate, then it might take you longer to get those rounds off. But I don't know that it's more fair or less fair. I just think it's fun. So
I need to come shoot with you and let you teach me how to breathe while we do it, because the one that was at 500 yards that we were laying, well, it was like start in a chair and with your rifle on the table. Well, my friend from Lansing Tactical was like, Jennifer, he said start in the chair. He didn't say stay in it. Climb your butt up on that table. So I climbed up on the table prone. But on that one, like it was 3-minute par time for 500 yards. And I hit all except one. I was so proud of myself on that one because it had some really hard. You had to hit the floor by 8-inch at 500. But at the end of it, literally, you can see on the video, I'm like I dropped my head when they say time, because I didn't mean to, but I was holding my breath so bad that by the end of it, I was out of breath. Like I about couldn't get off the table. I was so out of breath.
Yeah, you die if you don't breathe. I've had an instructor tell me that more than once. I have a bad habit of holding my breath when I'm shooting kneeling because I'm not as comfortable as prone. So if I'm shooting standing offhand or kneeling or seated, I hold my breath, and then the sight picture goes down. Like, oh, crap. All right, start over, start breathing again. I do that, the same thing, though, with holding my breath. It's a constant.
So what's the proper way to do it? Just to pause as you're going to pull the trigger, or?
I don't. I'm usually 3/4 of the way out with a full breathing cycle when I pull the trigger. But if I'm running through a shoot house or something, I'm usually just trying to get on target, and I'm huffing and puffing. So take a couple deep breaths and slow down, take the shot, then book it again. I don't really think about it so much anymore, but I know in the beginning I did. I'd be winded the whole time and hold scopes doing that, and trying to slow it down, and that just took a lot of practice.
Right on. So we're going to get into the training aspect of this, because we know in action pistol sports, I mean, there's a lot of dry fire, live fire involved. There's a mental game involved there. And PRS is when you're training to be at the level that you're at. Is it the same, or is there a difference? I know there's probably more work on the. I would assume there's more live range, working with the scope, knowing your holdovers and certain positions. But what do you have as far as training to be at your level with PRS?
I dry fire in my backyard. I live in a subdivision, so I've got a tiny little backyard. I've got a 1/4-inch dot on the fence, and I work through positional stages and shoot off of lawn furniture. Just dry firing on that. So do that a couple days a week, and live fire. Try to live fire once a week. But once I've got the velocity, I don't really worry about what my dope is. I might check my 0 to 100 when I'm working up a load, and if I've traveled someplace where my gun might get bounced around or something. But I use a Patriot case, so I've never lost a 0 on it. And check it at 3, 5, 8, and 1,000 if I can to verify what my dope is. But that's it. A lot of dry fire, though.
I
Yeah, so-
really want to hit a 1,000-yard shot.
Hey. Anything on 1,000? I mean, is there any? Are you pretty good out there at 1,000, Regina?
Um,
All
yeah,
depends
I
on
mean,
what
if
your target
I
is.
hit more than I miss, but I live in Phoenix, so we have a lot of Mirage out here pretty much all year long. We've got a couple of full-size IPSCs, one at 1,000, one at about 1,100, and another one at 1,375. And watching that, we normally are watching trace out to see if something's going to impact because of that. But if you can get to the right wind hold, it's not usually that hard. The dope's right on. It's more the wind hold thing. A lot of cross winds and trying to watch Mirage at a couple of different distances, checking brush, checking trees, to see if you're going to need more or less in order to get an impact.
So we were talking a little bit, obviously before the show. We talked quite a bit throughout the week, but you're a little superstitious on wearing the jersey, and I know I felt this way, and I know a lot of people have asked me questions. They're like, "Well, does wearing that jersey with all these names on your back, does it have an added pressure?" And I think at the beginning, it was in my mind, but now since I worn it so much, I just don't. It's like I'm wearing, it's not there. It doesn't bother me. I don't think about it. It's not in the back of my mind. So what's your take on this?
I started wearing a jersey in 2012, I think, and 13 and 14 and part of 15, and I started noticing that I was having more fun and was more relaxed at club matches where I was just wearing a t-shirt. So well, why don't I try doing that for the 2015 season and see if there's any issues with it. Plus, I am a horrible procrastinator, and I kept putting off ordering one. And my score started improving. I started having a lot more fun. I wasn't as focused on worrying about representing people well. I was just out there representing me. Plus, the guys with the cameras didn't realize that I was a sponsored shooter, so they left me alone, and I could just go shoot my game and not worry about it. So I don't wear them now. I had to double check with all of my sponsors to make sure that they were okay with that. So I bring it with, and I finally got my new jersey right before NorCal, so I wear it for the award ceremonies. Wore it in New Mexico and then NorCal for the award ceremony, because I don't mind then. I mean, that's really when they want the pictures, is with trophies and stuff. But
Yeah.
It's a weird superstition, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, I think the sponsors just want you to do well. More importantly, you walk around with it before the match. You walk around at the award ceremony, whatever. You want to have you go out to. I know Nils Johnson wears his at the dinner parties. I mean, I don't think he takes that thing off sometimes. It's almost like Dustin. Every time you see Dustin, he's in a jersey. Don't matter what the event is. If it's business attire, jersey.
And if he doesn't have it on, it's in his backpack, so he can put it on very quickly.
Yeah, he'll walk in there with it, but then once everything starts popping off, he'll put it on, and boom, he's in the game. So there's some guys like that. But yeah, I don't know. You ladies getting any of that firsthand with the jersey stuff? Any stuff sitting in the back of your head pressuring you? Really?
I don't think having the jersey on makes a difference to me. It's what the jersey represents, the fact that I am now representing companies, and there is a little added pressure than just going out there and, I guess partly too, before I had a jersey, I was brand new, so I just expected to maybe stay alive in the match and not DQ. So, there was no expectation at all there before I was sponsored, and now there's a little bit. Like when I DQ'd, I didn't want to call home and tell everybody I DQ'd. I was really upset. I was like, oh, I've let them all down. That was bad.
My sponsors are really great in the fact that they don't care how well I do. So, I mean, they care when I do well, but, they're not sponsoring me because I'm finishing top 10 like I did this past weekend at any matches. But it's making me more aware of when I'm talking to people in between the stages, after matches and stuff like that. That's when I feel the pressure, if you want to call it, of having a jersey. But while I'm shooting, I've played sports and been an athlete pretty much my whole life. It doesn't matter what I have on. When I'm in the game, I'm in the game. I could be wearing a t-shirt. I could be wearing a sweatshirt, long sleeve. I could probably shoot the same in a jacket with a jacket on as I could with a t-shirt on.
Like, I guess for me, it's not so much that I felt pressure with it. I mean, my sport's pretty small still, so everybody knows who I am, whether I think that they do or not. But I was forgetting that I was supposed to be having fun, and if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be shooting a sport. So none of my sponsors at any point have ever expected me to shoot at a certain level. They're happy that I answer questions on Facebook, that I'm happy to go shake hands and talk with people and take pictures and stuff at matches. So I think for me it was just remembering that I'm supposed to be having fun, and so in that respect, having the jersey on made me feel like I was a pro or something, and I didn't really want to have that mindset because I just didn't. I wanted to go out and just have a good time and still be approachable and stuff. So
Yeah, I agree too, because I do notice when I take my regular, because I always go to the match in a different shirt and then put my jersey on before I shoot. The minute I put that jersey on, people start looking at me more. So that kind of gets me. That'll get in my head a little bit. Like before, it was just like, oh, she's a girl shooting. It's cool. Glad she's here. Oh, she has a jersey. Maybe she's really good. We should watch her.
Yeah.
Let's watch what she's doing. And then that I can understand where it's like then it could be tough to try to have fun when you know so many people it's bringing so much attention to you, because when I go to my monthly matches and kind of Jen, when she goes to hers, there's not a lot of females. There's maybe 3 to 5. So if you're one of the ones with a jersey on, they're like, oh, you must be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Which Jen probably is, but me on the other hand, I'm like, I'm okay.
Well, I'm one of those people that people talk about that had a jersey before they probably shot well enough to actually wear a jersey.
I did too.
Me still, I'll admit it. You could just buy them. I thought you had to earn them. I didn't know anybody could just buy them. That blows my mind still.
And I've never had a jersey that a sponsors paid for until my most recent one. Before that, I was paying for them all. The sponsors give me stuff, and I figured, well, I got enough money then if they're supplying gear for me that I can afford my own jerseys then. But
luckily mine have both. I only have 2, but luckily, 2 seasons worth of jerseys. I always get a home and away jersey kind of thing. So, but those have luckily have always been paid for. I kind of finagled that in there. Once I realized how much they cost, I was like, I'm gonna need some help with this. So if you want your name shown when I'm shooting, it'd be really nice if you could help with this. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think with me with the jersey too is I feel like and it isn't pressure that other people put on me, it's pressure I put on myself. I want to earn it, and partly because, like Regina said, I did get a jersey before I was good enough, as far as shooting. I started with the local people here wanted to sponsor me, and they still do, and they have been there for me. But I think I felt like I had to prove something, because I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of women that are out there not really shooting, that are just on Instagram or whatever, and they're not.
No, you mean those girls in bikinis don't really shoot guns?
I'm just saying they don't. Like, I wanted to not be that. I wanted to earn, that I actually do the work. As a female, I actually do the work and do shoot, and I may not be the top, but I at least earn my way.
You're doing really well there.
So I just wanted to shut up. So I just wanted to earn my way. I think that probably I put more pressure on myself because of that than anything.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. We have
one on Facebook from Ursula Williams, who is a 3-gunner, and she says, for Regina, what's a good precision rifle program or women's only event that a new shooter can take to get their feet wet?
Oh, I love Ursula. Rifles Only puts on last year anyway, we had the inaugural Ladies Only at Rifles Only. So we had 8 women come out to Kingsville to Rifles Only, and Jacob Bynum and Lindy Sisk worked with all of us, get us correctly behind our gun, drove home some of the fundamentals, and then let us run crazy on the ranch. It was actually a lot of fun. It was really good. We're hoping to put another one on this year. I'm not sure where we're going to do it. August in Kingsville, Texas is pretty miserable I think it was 117 was what they figured the heat index was, because 100 with 100% humidity or something. It was gross.
That's terrible.
Yeah, we were all suffering a little bit of heat stroke after that. So there's some talk about Colorado maybe. Jacob Bynum's wife Lisa is still working on the details on that. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get another one though. It'd be good.
Yeah, check out that match.
How different is PRS from DMR? Now that I've kind of seen what DMR is a little bit.
That's more like semi-auto, right? The DMR stuff.
Yeah.
The PRS stuff's predominantly bolt gun. They've got some semi-auto people that shoot, and there's 2 PRS matches that are actually semi-autos that are included. They're the scoped. What is it? Semi-auto scoped rifle. There's one at Core, and then there's another one that's coming up that my husband's actually going to go shoot. So it's outside
and now is
of
it
my
a
little
series?
area. So.
You were saying like at the end of the year you placed whatever. So is it like a series of certain events you have to shoot?
The first year I think we had maybe 10 matches in the season, and this year there's 28 or 29. So they take your top 3 scores, and that places you with all the other shooters, and then they take the top ones for the season finale. That I think this year's going to be in January. I don't know where yet though, but those semi-auto rifle matches will count though for points. So there's a couple of guys that have pretty good scores from that match at Core that will probably be going to the finale.
Sweet. Yeah, good stuff. I was talking actually to 3-gunner Dylan Easley last night. We were talking about long-range rifle calibers and how we both kind of wanted to get into it, but he's like reloading and all this stuff, and we were kind of like, we don't got time for that type of deal. So we want to pose this question to you: what's the estimated round count? Because I know long range, I mean, it's almost like you have to reload your rounds. So what's the estimated round count per year, and what is your preferred caliber of choice doing this?
For competition, my preferred caliber is a 6XC, 6mm caliber that David Tubb came up with, I guess. I've also shot my 308 in a couple of matches, and then I practiced with a 223 that I just had built. I probably shoot 200 rounds per match, and I shoot 7 or 8 matches a year, like big matches, plus monthly matches that are about 60 rounds, and I do at least one of those every month. So a lot through my 6. I usually go through 2 barrels a year now. My 308, maybe about 3,000 rounds, same with my 223. So I like to practice with my 308 more than my 223. The 223 is great for positional stuff and working a barricade or something, but sometimes I want the 308 for the recoil. So I get used to heavier recoil. Then I go to a big match and shoot my 6mm, and it's like shooting a pea shooter. So no recoil at all, and I can stay on target much easier. So that's probably a mental thing also. But so I go through a lot of rounds, and I do a lot of reloading.
Well, it's kind of like the same concept. When I know I'm kind of rearing off here. When baseball players going up to swing, they have all that weight on their bat. So when they get up there, it's just a lightweight bat, and they're just smashing the home runs. You know, it's a lot easier to do that. So that makes actually a lot of sense there to shoot 308 in practice. So there is a little bit for Dylan. We were actually talking about 308s, and he's like, dude, the ammo's so expensive, and now I gotta change out dies, and now I gotta reload the stuff. And he's like, it's probably 10,000 rounds a year, which was his guess. And I'm like, dude, that sounds like a lot. He's like, if you're gonna play the game, you gotta play it hard, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So 10,000 rounds is what we were calling out there. Might be a little less. Well, I don't know. Might be a little bit more, but good stuff on that stuff. So there, Dylan, if you're watching, there's what you got to do to get into it. Reload your own stuff. Stop being lazy. I think that dude has he has one of those automatic reloading systems, and he's talking about being lazy when he's reloading. Just change the dies out and have it do it, or you gotta hand load that stuff really on a single stage.
Well, we've got 1050s. My husband used to work for Dillon, so we've got a couple of 1050s in our reloading room, and we run them as single stage. So for 223, I'll run it through and just crank out rounds, because the powder's different, so it's not. I don't need to be as fine with it. Plus, I don't care. I'm using it for positional. So, but for the 6 and my 308, then I've got our CBS Charge Master, and I do those one at a time.
Yeah.
So it takes a
So,
while.
yeah.
Brass prep
Yeah,
is
you can't use the lazy guy auto drive and just go cook dinner and let it run.
no, God,
Yeah.
the precision rifle guys get like super OCD, and all the groups on Facebook, they get pictures of their SDs that they chronoed at the range, and they're all oohing and on over like a 1.7. I'm like, man, a bad wind call, it's not going to matter with that SD, but good on you. Good job. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, the guys always gotta, do the show off thing, I guess, a little bit.
Oh, and the girls too. I've done it myself.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump into the lightning round here. So these are just quick, one or the other, kind of goofing around kind of deals here. Lightning round for you, Regina. So we usually start off with this. Is usually a pretty funny one. Toilet paper roll. Do you like the flap over the top or underneath the roll?
If it's underneath, it gets dirty. Over the top.
Oh, right on. There, that's the first over the top we've heard it.
One.
Right?
She's 1 for 1 right.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, so it's got to be over the top.
Yeah. All right, there, over the top wins. Mexican restaurant, tacos or burritos? Which one, if you can only order one?
Tacos.
Tacos seems to be the more. It's like the play it safe tacos thing, man. The burritos usually where it's at. You're nice and full.
Well, we got like a
Tacos.
place that we go to that give you these tacos that are ginormous, so we always get the tacos. You get 2 of them, and then you don't have to eat anything else for like a day.
That's a good. Sounds like a good deal. All right, so if you can actually compete in one of these sports, would it be MMA or boxing?
MMA.
Yeah, MMA.
I like
seems
them
to be
both,
the-
but MMA.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. MMA. I told Jen to get into it heavy, but now she's doing the long range thing. You can't squeeze 3 sports into one deal. That's rich man stuff right there when you get into that. So all right, so you can only drink one. Is it Jameson or Jack Daniels?
I need a third choice. Probably Jameson if I had to choose.
And what's your third choice if it was there? Just curious.
I would probably go with Tito's vodka.
Tito's, the old famous Tito's, yeah. I haven't tried that stuff, but I know there's a couple guys that's been heavily into the Tito stuff. That stuff's pretty affordable. No, I never. I mean, that, like I said, that vodka and cranberry was like the first time in a long time I've touched vodka, man. That stuff, I'm dark liquor dude, straight up, on the rocks or a little splash of Coke. That's about it.
Dude.
Yeah. All right, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris get into a fight in their prime. Who do you have winning?
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I agree there. The mystical Bruce Lee. But Chuck Norris usually wins here and there. It's been very popular.
I like Chuck Norris jokes, but Bruce Lee is he's more my Zen master, so I'd go with Bruce Lee.
Agreed. You're over on the West Coast, so you have the luxury. In-N-Out Burger or Five Guys. If you can eat at one for the rest of your life, what are you eating at?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. I knew that was the answer there. I mean, is it, the West Coasters know about that stuff. The East Coast, they're a little shaky on that. They don't really know the answer to it, so they usually pick Five Guys.
Animal fries, man. Animal fries.
Yeah. Too bad Dustin's not on. He'll be flipping out on that. All right. What do we have? And we're kind of rounded off with this one. Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Oreos are the ones that I always end up getting, so I'll stick with Oreos.
Oreos. Jen, you want to throw one in there? I don't know. We'll do this one. We got a tactical belt or we got a battle belt or a tactical vest. If you can shoot a major PRS match with one of those two on, which one would you prefer? Not that they're gonna really ideal piece of gear for that type of stuff.
Oh God, I think most of NorCal actually runs one or the other. Neither one, man. I would just yeah, just run it in a t-shirt and some comfortable pants, right? Yeah, I got a backpack.
All right, we'll round that one off. Lightning round. Jen, you had a question you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I was going to ask probably I don't think I'm the only one that struggles with this. The hardest thing is windage. So how is the best way to learn it, to practice it, other than going out and shooting 58,000 rounds before you figure it out? I mean, I understand it, but it's such a difficult thing to read. I have a very hard time reading the wind and figuring out. Everybody I talk to says, yeah, judging it on the fly. I'll go out there, like Justin Vitito, he'll go out there and he's like, yeah, the wind down there is about 15 miles an hour. I mean, and he can totally just hit it first time off of it. It drives me crazy.
Unlike me, it's a
Mhm.
I don't know, a little bit
No.
hold over to the
And
left.
this match that I just shot, I walked it in like every time. Like I kind of knew what my elevation should be, and then I would just like walk it in.
Mhm.
Well, I had a very smart friend of mine tell me one time that elevation is science and windage is voodoo. I strongly believe that. I've gotten a lot better at guessing wind, but that's all it still is just a guess. I'm not quite as good as some of the guys in the PRS. I spent a lot of time with Kestrel at new locations and checking the wind and not looking at it. Get an average, don't look at what the Kestrel says and guess what it is and then see if I'm right. That's helped a lot. Phoenix doesn't get a lot of wind, though. I mean, we all run to the range during monsoon season. It's like, oh, it's 10 miles an hour, and the text messages go flying, and we all rush out there to go shoot in it because we're not used to getting it very often. Northern Arizona gets some. We were shooting in like 15-mile-an-hour wind this weekend, and that was fun, but I was still guessing at what my wind hold would be, and I was really wrong on one shot. I figured 1 mil, and it was more like 2.5, so I was pretty far off on that one, but it's all still guessing. I don't have good advice on how to do that because I haven't quite figured it out myself other than practice.
Yeah,
So
so
just
I think it's
do
the more you're shooting it, I think the more you're going to get better at guessing it, in a sense.
Yeah, you kind of get better at reading the mirage, and if you don't trust the mirage, then reading the elements around you. I'm better at reading mirage than I am at reading grass. Like some of the guys are like, "Oh, just watch the grass and see which way it's predominantly blowing." I'm like, "It's going back and forth. How are you supposed to tell what it's doing if it's going
Okay,
back and forth?"
thank you. We were shooting over a cornfield. Like there was when we were prone, there was one target that you like literally could not hardly see. I like kind of knew where it was and just shot through the corn. But they're like, well, watch the corn. Well, it's like going all over the place. It's not going one way.
Yep, that's my argument too. I can watch Mirage and pick it up, but if you're not watching all of the Mirage all the way out, like if you got a target that's at like 1,000 yards or something, then you kind of have to feel it on your face, see it about halfway down, and then see it at the target and decide what you're going to hold for. Because if you have conflicting wind values, it may really feel like you're going to need to hold off target, and instead a center hold is perfect for it because you've got one wind value that's going left to right and another one going right to left that are the same speed that cancel each other out. At least that's what I found. I hope that's right.
All right, there you go. We got a couple good questions coming up, but we're going to jump into the discount corner. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you want to ask your questions live to Regina, make sure you do on the Q&A section. If you're watching this on YouTube, Google+, or if you just prefer to use the Facebook, theshootersmindset.com has a post pinned to the top. Just drop it in the comment section, and we'll get it over to her throughout the show here. I want to get into discount corner here, so we hit on this a little bit earlier. Shop.tacticalshit.com has TSM 10, saves you 10% off your entire order. I know they got some Glock triggers and some AR-15 triggers that the bang switch that that are really good triggers. So if you're in the market, they have tons of stuff, clothing. I mean, I don't know what don't they sell at Tactical Shit. So if you're in the market, they support the game. Go check them out next time you're shopping around. We have Dewey rods. So DeweyRods.com, TSM 15 saves you 15% off. Dewey rods. So cleaning rods, a 3-gun field kit, AR-15 kits. They got it all over there. So that's a very important key to the game. At least Kurt doesn't think so because he doesn't clean his AR in 3 years, but he's running a 50 gun. So we still want a picture of that bolt, Kurt. So don't slack on that. What do we have? Taran Tactical Innovations, TaranTacticalInnovations.com, TSM 10. I think they extended their Memorial Day sale, so they got 25% off going on right now. So head over to Taran Tactical Innovations Facebook page today only. They have 25% off. Any other day, TSM 10 will save you 10% off.
He's tried to put in your TSM 10 with the other code, but don't do that because it'll pick whatever code you put in last. If you want the 25% off, use I think it was Armed Forces code. Don't try to use them both because it'll try to switch them out.
Yeah, it's trying to be slick, trying to get 35% off or something.
Yeah, he was like, oh, let's try the TSM discount code while we're buying all this crap that we need but we don't need. But, hey, it's on sale and it's Memorial Day, so after we've bought ammo, bullets, and now Taran tactical base pads for pretty much every gun in the house, 35% would have been nice.
Yeah, I agree. That stuff. It'll run up a decent tab really quick. That's for sure. All right, I got umtactical.com, TSM10 for 10% off. umtactical.com. They have the range compensator. That's a fully adjustable compensator. They have one that just released for 308s, and they've been had it out for 223s and 5.56. So if you want to add a very high-end comp to the end of your rifle, check out umtactical.com. Use TSM10. And I know Jen's got a couple of them. Just want to mention this one. Dissident Arms. If you want a Vepr 12 or a Sega 12 shotgun all decked out, ready for 3-gun open division, tell them the Shooter's Mindset sent you, and they'll probably hook you up. I don't know what the discount is, but just tell them we sent you. That'll be a big help towards us, and you could probably get a discount, free swag. I don't know what it is, but there it is. Jen, what do you have?
Samsung Manufacturing, you can get 10% off with the code TSM10 at their website, which is samsung-mfgpro.com. And Carbon Arms, you can get 10% off, which is TSM10, and that's at carbonarms.us.
Regina, do you have any discount codes off the top of your head on the fly, Dale?
Not that I'm allowed to share. No.
So they have to be friends with you. That's Nikki's deal. You got to friend Nikki and have a conversation with her, and then she'll hook you up with some codes and stuff, and she'll talk you into the right product. So everybody go friend or like her page. That's first and last name, and boom, it'll pop up. YouTube channel, it's all there. So make sure you subscribe, get it all in there. And if you want some long range advice, I'm sure she'll help you out. Nikki, you got some a discount code you want to throw out?
Yes, I had a discount code for American Defense that I was actually going to share with everybody. Like, you do not have to
be your friend.
Be my friend to get this code, and I can't find it.
That's helpful.
I think it's 3-gun 10. The number 3, the word gun 10. But I don't know. So when I find it, I will put it in the comments or something. I'll let Anthony post it. But other than that, if you want a discount code for Criterion barrels, just message me. I'll be more than happy to share that with you after we talk about what kind of barrel would be perfect for your rifle build. I can save you about 10% on a barrel with Criterion, and also with True Spec clothing. I would love to hook you up, make you look good in some True Spec. So just shoot me a quick message or message Team Kilometer Shooting on Facebook, and we can get you set up with some discount codes for True Spec as well as Criterion barrels and American Defense as soon as I find the American Defense discount code that I put somewhere.
Yeah, we'll post it in the description box below if you're really interested in any American Defense products. What do we have here? We were talking about, right at the end of the pre-show, we were going to ask Regina a question regarding cleaning her rifles and how important it is. 3-gun, some people, maybe before a major match, it all depends on how you are about that stuff. I usually let it ride a little bit for local matches, and then if there's a major coming up, I clean it, shoot it, clean it, kind of get a little crazy about it. But how important is that for PRS, having a clean barrel going into that game?
Oh, that's bad juju. I don't ever go into a match with a clean barrel. I probably clean mine. I get them as soon as I clean it as soon as I get a new barrel, and then another 600 rounds I might clean it again if it needs it. If the groups open up, otherwise no. I clean so infrequently that I have to ask my husband every time, what's the next step? So not very good at it.
I was thinking this is like uber important, like you have to like clean it every time. I don't know where I'm at with this long range thing, but I thought it was like uber important to have a clean rifle going in and all that stuff.
I think that's kind of old school thinking. I know some of the high power guys would do that. And clean even between strings, and yeah, not mine. I only clean it if the accuracy degrades, and that's how I know if my barrel's shut out. If I clean it and it still shoots like crap, then I know that time for a new barrel. But that's not usually till it's over 2,000 rounds or so. So for my 6, but
2,000 rounds and your barrel's gone. I mean that that's pretty, like, between 2,000 and 3,000. I mean, three gunners. I mean, there's some guys that'll shoot that in a season, easy.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and with the 308, I can go 10,000 rounds or better. 223, that'll shoot forever. But the 6mm, we're running them so fast that the barrel life doesn't last quite as long. Same with the 6.5s. I think my husband he's a little weird. Like, he runs stuff with like 4,000 rounds on it and takes it to a match. I would probably not do that. I think most of mine, they hit about 1,700 rounds and they become a practice rifle, and go get another one spun up that's fresh and use that one just for big matches. And the other ones I'll take to local matches and stuff where I don't really care. The target's going to be bigger, big pieces of steel rather than like a 4-inch circle or something at 800 yards for a know your limit stage. But
there you
so
go,
yeah,
man.
cleaning not so much.
1,600 rounds in a barrel swap. Dang.
What barrel do you run?
I'm currently shooting Hawk Hill barrels. A bunch of the PRS guys have slowly been moving over to them. Bartline's also another big name in the sport, but the Hawk Hill ones, I absolutely love the barrels that I've gotten from them. Every one of them on load development. So first 5 rounds through a barrel is the size of my pinky nail. They all just stack up right on top of each other, and I really don't think that that's because I'm superior at reloading. I blame it on the barrel. So between that and my gunsmith, Mark Sully at Spartan Precision Rifles, he's built all of my guns since 2011. So had really good luck with those and with that barrel combination.
There you go. Nikki, I know you had one lined up for. What do you have?
I had a couple lined up. Let me see where we left off. You said your husband shoots pistol, and you've done some pistol matches, and that he shoots 3-gun and stuff. Is there any skills, gear, knowledge, tactics, practice drills, anything that you think is a crossover between the two shooting sports, other than 3-gun, possibly getting out to 350 yards or so? What can you take from PRS to help benefit you in 3-gun, USPSA, or any other shooting sport?
Well, fundamentals are fundamentals. So, I mean, you still want side alignment. You still want to be behind your gun properly. So, follow through, trigger press, all that stuff is the same regardless of the shooting sport. So, he's been shooting for 25, 30 years, so he's got a lot more experience with that. So, with pistol stuff, I'm not allowed to slack off with pistol, and I tend to. So, he really pushes me with that, and it's always a trigger press issue. I don't have that problem with my rifle, so that's the fundamental that I have to work on with pistol, because I tend to yank instead of pull. And we see that a lot with precision rifle guys too, though. They do the same thing. They fly off of it. We make jokes and say that they're slapping it like a hoe. Like, don't treat it like it owes you money. But I see it with pistol shooters. They do the same thing. I mean, the same issues that you see with rifle shooters are the same things that you're going to see them do with a pistol or with an AR or with a shotgun. So it's still finding your target, sight alignment, be behind your gun properly, pull the trigger properly, and remember to breathe.
There you go.
I would think also with precision rifle and some of the videos I was watching of yours on YouTube, I really struggle with getting into position for rifle shots quickly and in a way where my eye relief is good, I'm braced properly, and I'm supported properly to take the shot. Because in 3-gun it's got to be quick, but even in precision rifle, once you get into position, you still want to get there pretty quickly, so you're not wasting time doing that versus actually trying to make the shot. So I could see where getting into position quickly to take your shot would be a good crossover training if I could do that more. Or better. I should get my lawn furniture out in the yard and start doing that.
Well, I mean, that's where it all comes from. When I'm practicing, I don't use any type of extra bags. I use a small rear bag if I do anything, and I build a position with that, or with nothing. So when I go shoot a match, and then I've got all the extra gear, a big pack, or a wee bad pump pillow or something, I'm super stable then. I throw it in there, boom, solid. And I'm not fiddling around so much. I fidget a lot, so if I can get the fidget out in practice and take my time building a position, then I'm that much faster in a match, because I already know, okay, I need to put that knee up, I need to brace on that side. That's good. That's a good side for a lefty versus a righty. And if I got to shoot it support side, then I know that I need to go to that side of the barricade or the obstacle. I'm grateful that I've got access to a lot of that stuff. We have a couple of barricades built out of our range. We've got some obstacles that are pretty unique to our sport, but are at every match like that. So we practice off of those when we go out there for my one live fire day a week, and work on building those positions with dry fire first, and dry fire for probably 40 rounds or 40 trigger presses, and then start doing live fire. So I know how I need to approach it, and I get up behind the obstacle too. So hit the timer, use the timer, because the buzzer gets in people's heads and makes you flinch and not breathe, and your brain leaves your body. So.
Right, are you running a uber light trigger on your rifles, or is there any concept behind the trigger pull?
I am. I'm just switched over to the Calvin Elites. I've been shooting for Timney for a couple of years, and I've got all my triggers set at a pound right now in my rifles. So
yeah, that's uber light. That's what I call uber light trigger. So yeah, there you go.
That's one of the things you just touched on that they told me at the match on Saturday. They were like, Jennifer, this is not 3-gun. They were like, take your time to get a good solid position, and like crawling up on the table. I had to tell myself, like, calm down, just get up there. Don't, we're so used to like trying to. I've got bruises on my knees from trying to slam into positions. They were like, make sure it's worth the time. You'll save time later if you take your time to get a good solid position. It's hard to do though, because that clock is ticking in the background.
Yeah.
And
mm-hmm.
You're so used to being under a time clock. As soon as you hear that beep, it's like boom, it's like ready to explode. Like, let's get in that position, let's get the shots off. Let's be the fastest at this thing.
That's actually one of the things that I've seen a lot with 3-gun people transitioning over into precision rifle is the clock. It gets in their head and they want to beat the clock, be the fastest. But you could blaze through it in a minute and a half or whatever. If we've got a minute and a half part time and you do it in 30 seconds, but you get one hit or no hits, well, great, you beat the clock. I take my time, and in a 10-round stage, I maybe get 6 rounds off, but I got 6 hits, I beat you. So the 3-gun people always come in with that thing, they got to beat the clock, they got to be fast, instead of slowing down and taking their time. Candace Horner posted up a video from that semi-auto scope rifle match at Core. She had a video of her going through the shoot house there, and she did that. I mean, I know she's a 3-gun shooter, and she said she had to tell herself to slow down and get good shots rather than just blazing through there. Right. So that's a big mind shift for 3-gun shooters going into precision rifle.
Especially with her coming off the 3-Gun Nation Pro Series, which is all about going fast, and then having to take a step back and slow down. It's tough.
I mean, but time's got to. Let's say that you got 5 targets out there, and you and another guy hit them all 5. Does time come into play at that point when you both cleaned him?
Sometimes. There are a couple of skill stages now that have been incorporated this season, and on those stages, yes, time factors in, but they're usually stages that are like speed drills. Like, they have one that's at 400 yards with 3 targets that are spaced out across 100 yards. Well, the goal with that is to shoot them as fast as possible. So you shoot 1, 2, 3, engage 3 again, then 2, then 1, as quick as you can. So then that time is your tiebreaker if you clean it. Now, if you don't, because you got an impact to move, you could be stuck on one of those forever and then only get the impacts with 90 seconds for your time. But you want the tiebreaker, because if you tie somebody, I mean, obviously you want to place higher than them, but that's usually the only time that it comes in as a factor, or stages where they say it's going to be time. The time is a tiebreaker.
We did one like that. It was like prone, and there were 5 targets, and you had to start at the biggest and go to the smallest, and you couldn't move on until, like, the other stages, you could pick whatever. Like, if I was going to war, I could say moving and move to the next thing. But that one, like, you had to make a hit before you could move to the next thing. And they actually did the timer on that. And what they did was the top 5 times, you had to clean it. But if you cleaned it, then the top 5 times got, like, 2 extra points on that stage.
Well, that's pretty good.
It was just very different.
That sounds like what we would call a test your limit stage. We use a target rack like that. That we have 5 targets that diminish in size on one rack, and we either run it as a know your limits, or if you miss, you zero the stage, you get no points. A test your limits where maybe you get 10 rounds for 5 targets, and you have to keep impacting. You have to impact to move, or you impact, and if you miss, then you got to start over. I have a lot of variations with that target array, actually, come to think of it. But yeah, something like that. Maybe I'll add that to our match in December. Get 2 points if you clean it.
There you go. You can call it. You can call it after Jennifer. You know, you just
Mhm.
call it that stage or something.
Give her
like
the
that.
credit for it.
Yeah. Right on. So what are your thoughts on companies like Ruger releasing budget long-range rifles? I mean, I know I'm interested in one. They really don't stay on the shelves very long. They seem to be, you know, you got to get one before anybody else does. Have you had a chance to shoot the Ruger precision rifle, and what are your thoughts on that?
I have not actually had a chance to shoot it because the guys that own them in my club won't let me. They really like them. I haven't gotten a chance to actually get behind one, but they don't stay on the shelves very long. They go pretty quick. The production division. This is the first year that the Precision Rifle Series has actually had 3 different divisions. So we got open, tactical, and production. Production, they have to have their whole gear has to be under $3,000. So the rifle's $2,000, scope is $2,000, combined is a $3,000 MSRP. So the Ruger Precision Rifle is perfect for that. I mean, it was my understanding anyway is that it's kind of created for that division. It's a perfect starter gun. The 308 or 65 Creedmoor, those guys are hitting stuff out way past what they thought they could. They're great starter guns.
Yeah, I think they're going for give or take around 1,000-ish, around that benchmark. So I think if I see one, I think I'm just gonna have to get it. I'm one of those guys that I like to have a gun or a rifle for every division. So I feel like shooting production. I feel like shooting open. I don't know, grab a long range gun. And
Anthony has to have one of
grab it.
everything.
Just gonna have one of everything. So just in case I feel, you know, if you want to be froggy and play in a totally different division, I just have the gear ready to go. Yeah,
well, the nice thing about the PRS this year is the production matches are, because it's kind of a beginner division, they're all one-day matches. So they're trying to get them to be maybe the day or the weekend before a larger event. So there'll be a 2-day open and tactical match with a production match the Friday before or something. And it's limited to 80 rounds. It's about 8 stages. So they get to get the feel of a bigger match without the exorbitant cost, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I think the budget guns are always great because it introduce a lot more people into the game. Maybe they thought they just couldn't afford it, they don't have a budget. You know, you can get a 3-gun ready rifle now for $1,000 ready to go, not including the scope. But I mean, Vortex Strike Eagles are like 3 and change, you know, and you're ready to go for $1,300, pretty much ready to go, and you can compete with that stuff and be competitive. So I think those are always good stuff when you see people release some. I hate to call them budget, but they're meant to get people going. And I mean, for a rifle like yours, or when you're really pushing the tops and you're trying to be the best, I mean, what's a go-ahead estimate on a rifle? Just a rifle, not glass.
Just a rifle, not glass. Well, mine all the way complete right now is about $7,000. So, and I run a Vortex Razor Gen 2. So take that $2,500 off of there, and so
5,000-ish.
Yeah, about that. So, but I mean, you could get one of those RPRs and get a Viper on it, and you're still well within that 3,000 budget. So
there you go. Good stuff on there. So for people getting into, I know I got to get one of those rifles. Do you have any events coming up? Any goals? Any projects? Maybe any training offered that you have coming up here?
Well, my next match isn't till the end of the month. I'm shooting the Sniper Side Cup. I haven't shot it before, so I'm kind of excited to try it. I'm already qualified for the finale, so for once I'm not stressed out about trying to shoot really well to try to qualify. So I got that match, and in August I'm going up to a match in Idaho, and then I've got the Lone Survivor benefit match that's in October in Texas, and after that will be the finale. We put on a big match in December, the Tactical Precision Rifle Challenge. So that match we'll have probably a little over 100 shooters come out for, and that one whatever anybody in my club doesn't want to do ends up assigned to me. So registration, T-shirts, match booklets, whatever nobody wants to do. They're like, hey, can you go get sponsors? It becomes my job because nobody wants to do it. So, so really that's it. Rifles Only is going to be out here for a couple of training classes in December before our match, but I don't have any specific training coming up. I've been toying with the idea of starting to offer classes locally, but I haven't yet.
I think that's a good idea. I think a lot of people will be interested in that stuff. I mean, if they are, I mean, you'll probably announce it. Do you have a website or anything like that, or is it just pretty much streamlined social media stuff right now?
Yeah, mostly just social media. I have a blog site that is listed on my Facebook page also that I occasionally write on, but mostly it's just through social media.
All right, so reach out to her. Maybe she gets like a good amount of people. You never know. Maybe she'll put it on, fly out to Arizona or something.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
Come out in the heat.
Come on in the heat. There you go. Nikki, no, we got a couple live ones, actually. We want to hit that. We appreciate the live questions. It really helps the show flow. Jenna, what do you have?
We have a couple of really good ones. I'm going to ask this one first because I'm really curious about it myself. Jay DiMartino wants to know, do you try to keep the ammunition temperature the same through the matches, and if so, how?
God, no. I try to keep it in the shade, like keep it in a pack or something so it's not sitting out roasting in the sun, but other than that, no. Ain't nobody got time for that. Too many
I wondered,
to worry
is that a thing y'all do? I was like, when I was
like, is that a thing? Really? You have to worry about this?
I thought this is how it was. I thought this long-range game was like, dude, put it in a Yeti cup, like, dude, do anything you can to have it running the way.
Everything, keep your
the barrel going, yeah.
Now, do you zero your rifle hot or cold? Like I know with 3-gun, we'll shoot a few rounds and then shoot for the zero. But hunters, my husband is a hunter, and he's like, no, you have to like shoot one and then let the barrel cool down, and then shoot the next one and then let it cool down. I was like, no, in 3-gun we don't.
No. Even I don't actually buy into the whole cold bore shot anyway. I think it's just a cold shooter. So no,
Nothing.
Probably, and I don't think I've ever actually paid attention to that. If I've shot 20 rounds or so, then I might let it cool off a little bit before I shoot. But if I'm shooting for like group size or something, but shooting off of barricades and unstable props, I don't care.
And this is a lot less complicated than I thought it was, man. Let's just go out there and have fun. Let's shoot. No worries on all the stuff.
Let me tell you, Anthony, it's the nicest people. Like, there was a guy there that shot that match with a red dot. I mean, talk about difficult. But there were people spotting for him and helping him walk it in, and he made some hits at 500 yards. I mean, he did get a couple of them, and it was just neat to watch him do that. Everybody was very supportive and just wanted to help, and everybody wanted to help everyone get hits.
Yeah.
A red dot is ballsy, though. That's a ballsy move with a red dot at 500.
He just showed up with what he had. He was like, yeah, I'll come and shoot. It was, it wasn't a major match. It was a laid back.
I might shoot one like you, Jen, just the 1 to 6 going out there. I mean, after what Regina's saying, where you don't, temperature of your ammo doesn't matter, your barrel doesn't have to be cleaned every so often. Well, crap, if it's that non-maintenance, I can go shoot that.
We need more ladies in the sport too. There aren't a whole lot right now. So
we'll call up Criterion, see if they can't send me something. We'll make it
well, look, don't get mad whenever I like blow your messenger up trying to ask you questions. You're gonna be like, oh my God, why did I tell her we need more women? I'm so fascinated by this sport, really. Like, when I went Saturday, I was totally hooked. Like, my husband and I went back and sat at the pool because we got a hotel in Atlanta. I was like, man, I'm so excited. That was so much fun. He was just looking at me like, you're crazy.
Oh, no, this is more money.
Yeah. I know, he was probably over there crying like, oh, God.
Ruger Precision, here we come.
Yeah.
Call the gun shops, call the FFLs. It's on order.
Jennifer, you've got a lot of precision rifle ladies out in that area too, in Georgia. Actually, both the girls that shoot for GA Precision live in Georgia, and so does Candace Horner, I believe. So you have a
North Carolina.
She's in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Missy Gilliland and Steph Payne both live in Georgia, so you have somebody close by ish. I think they're like an hour and a half south of Atlanta or something, but
The last time we really had a hard talk on long range stuff was when we had Annette Walker on. That was a while ago. I think that was like episode 30ish or something like that. And we really haven't. I know we touched a little bit on it with Justin, who was Army sniper and stuff like that, but we really haven't had a show dedicated to this stuff. So it's good to hear some of the stuff for a change down this line. Jen, I know
the Southeast has got a ton of girls lately. Christine Allen out of Louisiana, she just got the High Lady at the match at K&M last weekend. She shoots lights out. It was her 50th birthday too, so that's how she celebrated, by getting the High Lady out there.
Awesome.
Sydney Tatum, she's in Virginia or West Virginia, and then there's a whole bunch of women in Texas that shoot too. So that whole southeastern part of the country has a bunch. So
yeah, I might have to do that. Well, another female wants to know. Rachel Putnam wants to know. She says, easy one here. What's the best choice if you can only afford one rifle and scope and want to shoot across the course 200, 300, and 600 yards? She said, I'm most familiar with .223, but I'm open to other calibers.
Well, that would be actually one that Annette could answer, because Annette's shot that. I've never actually shot a across the course match before, so I'm not sure. I think those are semi-autos too, but I've never shot one of those matches.
I don't know where now. You had one more live, I know.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll answer this, but Robert Messenger wants to know, what's your favorite recipe for your 308? Will you give it away?
44 grains of Varget. I don't care what bullet it is. The 168 and 175, I've been using Sierras, and it works for both of them. So
there you go. There's the recipe.
Just made Robert's day, and he could have sent me a message and asked me
that. Nikki, you had a couple lined up here. I know you had a couple good questions here.
Yeah, let's see what the next one is. Well, the one about, we talked about that one kind of already. What were some of the biggest obstacles or setbacks you faced when you first started in the sport? Like you said, you tried 3-gun, it wasn't your thing. But when you decided, I like this PRS stuff, what were some of your first major obstacles and setbacks that you had to overcome?
I would say most of it was in my own head. So I was the only girl that I knew of that was shooting at the time, so not being afraid to ask a question because I didn't want to look stupid. I spent a lot of time being quiet and just watching, and I learned a bunch doing that, but I probably missed out by not just saying, hey, how do I do whatever with this, and how do I do that, and not fully understanding stuff. Outside of that, really none. The guys have all been really welcoming. They offer advice. Same thing like Jennifer experienced at that match. They're all real helpful, walk into targets and tell you if you're high or low, or did you dial a whole rev extra on your scope. They help with reloading advice, so I've never really had any issues with any of that. So sometimes I get the, oh, you're cute for a girl. You shoot good for a girl kind of stuff, but that has kind of slacked off.
And then you go and beat them all.
Yeah. The last couple of years, I haven't gotten that as much, but I definitely did in the beginning.
Yeah, so. I think it's now that you're beating them, now that you're beating them, it's like, well, why even bother? And I think the when they first notice you, I think that's when that kind of comes into play. Mm-hmm. Like, you shoot? I know the ladies always get that all the time usually, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, cute, you have a gun, that's so sweet. Something for you to do with your husband, keep him company. Like, yeah, I beat my husband. Not bad.
That actually goes into my next question, because so when I get what you're saying, you were scared to ask questions because you may feel dumb. When I go out there, I get scared to ask questions because I don't know the lingo as well. I haven't been doing this as long, so it's almost nice to have my husband there, so when somebody's trying to talk to me about something, I can just look at him like a translator and be like, can you tell me what he meant by that? Just put it in a way I can understand it. So I know that you get to shoot with your husband, and y'all, you do all that. Like, do you like having him out on the range, like how mine benefits me, or does he annoy you sometimes, like mine's doing right now, and we're not even shooting?
I'll just say yes to both.
Yeah, I think it's a safe play.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she was asking me about sizing brass. And I told her, well, you take the thingamajig and then you measure it, and then when you use the thingamabob, then you can do it. And I'm like, I don't know what it's called. I'm going to have to go home and look it up on Google or something. So I found out what it was and sent her the links. But I know what they are. I know how they function. I didn't know what the actual names were for them. Now I do, but...
Well, you got when my family tries to watch the show, they usually they say, "Dude, I don't understand nothing you guys are talking about." You know, I guess the lingo that we talk on the show, I'm like, "Really, dude? It just listen to it. It sounds normal to me." He's like, "No, man, I don't know nothing you're talking about." I'm like, "Oh well, there goes a view."
Yep.
Well, there it
Well,
is.
that's why you're me here, Anthony, so I can just talk how I normally talk and dumb it down for everybody so that people like me can understand it.
Yeah, there you go.
My first match, I kept calling them pasties instead of pasters, and everybody was like, "No, they are not pasties. They are pasters."
Yeah. It's like once you know the lingo, you kind of adjust it a little bit. Like I'll say pasties here and there just cause. You know, it's just,
Well,
I'm like, who has some more
Who has a pasties?
And they're like, "Oh my God, Jennifer, they are pasters."
yeah.
I had issues with the targets. Heath was like, well, that's a popper, and that's an IPSC target, and that's a this. I'm like, popper? LaRue? IPSC? What are you talking about? Oh, the thing with the ball that has the little line? Got that one. Oh, the one that looks like a little person? Got that one. Oh, the one that looks like a person with the square head? Ah, okay.
That was hard at that DMR match because they were so far away that I could barely see them anyway. And you know, when they're standing there showing you what you're going to shoot, I'm like, wait, let me look through the spotting scope again. And they were different things. So they'd be like, what are you going to hit first? The circle and the silhouette. And they're like, you mean the IPSC? Well, yeah, that whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Like trying to. I'd move to a target, and they're like, what'd you move to? I'm like, I don't know, the one to the right of the one I was just shooting. Yeah. It was very odd. I wish they would have been, like, color-coded so I could have just said, like, the red one.
Mine's target acquisition. Everything out here on mountains is next to a cactus by a pile of dirt with some rocks. So every one of us says, well, why can't you see that target? It's right next to the cactus with the two arms. No, you don't see that? It's got the pile of rocks next to it. You know, by the desert dirt over there where the sand is. You see the sand patch? It's by the sand patch. They're all by a sand patch with a cactus and a pile of rocks next to them. Every single freaking one of them. So, yeah, target acquisition. That's good times.
Gonna narrow it down that much for you. Nikki, you have one that you brought in here as it's kind of we're gonna ask it like every show now.
Yes, this is show number 2 for this question. I'm gonna ask it every show now. If you had $1 for every time somebody said this to you, you'd probably have $1 million. What is it?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't get the same thing. Normally, I get some question and I give them an answer, and I get but followed by how I'm wrong until I prove that I'm right. So that would be it. Is but
every time someone challenged what you said. If you had $1 for every time someone challenged what you said.
Oh, I could buy a couple more rifles if that was the case.
I kind of have a trouble understanding that. So you're asking the person for advice, but then you're challenging their advice that why do you even ask if you kind of had the right way? You know.
Well,
they wanted confirmation for their right answer.
Exactly.
I guess so.
I call them.
Don't give them that confirmation, then they're like they try to fight you as to why they were right.
I call them assholes. Sorry, Christine Allen. I told her I would apologize if I swore, and that's pretty close. So, but they're assholes. You ask a question, but they don't really want to know what the answer is.
Like they're testing.
So, yeah, exactly.
Huh. All right, we actually just got a long range. I wanted to mention this. I don't know if John Rodriguez is watching, but he's putting on. He's a match director for, from what I know is, and it's probably the most local to me, which is a PRS style match. Like as we were mentioning earlier in the pre-show, we finally got a 2-mile range. So he's just starting to put a club on. He wants me to come out. I don't know all the direct information, but if you want to go to Altair Gun Club, I believe it's altairgunclub.com. If you Google it, it'll bring you to the website. I know they're going to start having PRS style matches on a monthly basis out there, and it's an excellent facility. I mean, everything's brand new.
I have never been there. I've never been there, but from what I've seen and what I've heard and the show that we had them on, that place looks sick.
So yeah, it's
So
pretty sick. So I mean, I think they acquired. I don't know if that's where it's at. I've never been on that side of the range, but I know they acquired an old prison. So like all that land
Yeah.
and all that stuff is just like, it's no. And they have a tower built up, so you're climbing up a tower. They got it all, man. It's a really good deal. I'm gonna post if you guys are curious in that and you're in the South Florida, Central Florida area, you want to come out to that. I'm gonna post all the direct information in the description box below, or you can send me a PM, and I'll make sure I'll talk to John. I'll get it over to you. That's a good way to get that match kind of going, because it's his first one that he's putting on, so we want to get shooters in there to help motivate that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that
indeed.
sounds like a good location.
Oh yeah. So I think we can wrap this one up. Do we have any live stuff? Last minute live.
We're good.
We're good on that. One thing I wanted to mention, I know you said you don't use this, and it's more of a guessing game, but when he got into it, I know he was talking a lot about devices. I don't know, like they attach to your cell phone device, and then it's like a I think it tells the windage or something like that, and it all gives you the data and stuff. You can plug it all in. Are those kind of devices that you guys are using a lot out there? You personally, those type of smartphone, plug it on the fly kind of devices to help you out a little bit?
They've got a couple of things that go with like with a Kestrel or off-brand items that do similar things to a Kestrel. I've got a Kestrel, so I just use that, the Applied Ballistics app. But I use Shooter as that app on my phone, and that's where I get all my ballistic data from. I put my velocity in there, and that thing's been trued up so many times that I don't have an issue with it. I use the same dope for 3 different rifles, and it's been spot on with all of them. As far as stuff that like attaches to your rifle, I've got a Sidewinder Industries dope card that it velcros onto the side, so you can put your little cards in there with your dope, and then a 2-round holder on the other side. So, but yeah, not really so much with the extra stuff that goes into smartphones, other than a couple of ballistic apps.
There you go. So I mean, man, I don't know.
Use a ballistic app. I had to use that. I don't know if it's called a ballistic app. That's Stray Lock.
Yeah, Shooter's better.
Which one's better?
Shooter.
I'll have to get that one.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good Kestrel to get?
I like the one with the Applied Ballistics in it, because you can put you can have a couple of different profiles for your guns in there. So you check your windage, and then you just look in there for what your dope is after you put your velocity in and stuff. So you could run it the same way that you would run Shooter off your phone. Kestrel's more expensive, but then you get your wind and your density altitude, which you need to know what the density altitude is if you're shooting past about 500 yards. You'd be close, but we don't like to miss, so we always want to know what the DA is. And while I like Shooter for giving me dope on there, I want the DA from my Kestrel. I don't want it to pick the closest weather station, so I'll manually put that in.
Is it the one that has like the target and it's $9.99?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's take
Bought, sold and sold. There it is. Dang.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than Strelok. We had a couple of guys that have used Strelok, and we always talk them out of it. Get them to switch over to Shooter.
I can't remember how much I paid for Stray Lock though, so.
It might have been free, because I think they have a free version.
My scope wasn't on the free version. I tried it. I tried the free version. I had to buy it to get my scope on there.
Shooters is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend extra money. Go with the Shooters.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can wrap this one up here. We'll take this one down to shout-outs. I don't think we have any live questions in the queue, but there was some talk. This was on my personal Facebook page between Scott and Kurt regarding piston guns and accuracy regarding those guns. So there's always some debate whether piston guns and DI guns are on that, but that's not on the shooter's mindset. But what are your thoughts on piston guns? If you guys are watching up to this point, put a comment below. Do you like them? Why don't you like them? What's the deal on piston ARs? All right. So, Jen, you can start off with the shout-outs. Let's wrap this one up.
All right. I got Shooters of Augusta and Sharpshooters of Augusta that let me go out there and plank to my heart's extent out to 200 yards. Load Up Ammunition, Savannah River Armory, Taran Tactical Innovations, Carbon Arms, Vortex, Blade Tech, Sampson Manufacturing, Lucas Oil outdoor line. We've been having the big lube debate.
Yes, the great
It's not,
debate about
it's
lube.
not really a debate. I don't get how it turns into one. It's very weird. I think we're,
Everybody and their mom has a different opinion on what the best lube is.
Yeah, amen. Yeah.
well, I'm gonna tell you what the best is right now,
Oh,
and
goodness,
that
here we
is
go.
Ran CLP. If you
Hey,
haven't tried it,
stay out of
send
my
me,
shout-outs, Anthony.
send me a
You get
PM.
your time in a minute. You
I'll
need to
send you
stop.
some. I'll send you some samples of this stuff. You guys let me know. You guys do it fun. All right, there you go.
See
Go-
how you
go-
hijacked my shout-outs? No, I don't want to finish now. I'm done.
But it's not a
Never mind.
debate. He doesn't know why it's a debate. Well,
Yeah. Are you? I thought you were done. You weren't done.
I'm done now.
All right, there you go. Short and sweet on the shout outs on Jen's side. I like it. There you go. Nikki, you're up. What shout outs do you have?
as always, title sponsor Criterion Barrels. I'm going to be hitting them up for give me a PRS rifle or something I can go shoot those designated marksman stuff with. I already have I can't even remember how long the barrel is because that I used for that hyperfire match last year, that all rifle hyperfire match. I just have to find what to hook it up to now.
What length were we talking about? 24?
I can't remember how long it is. I'd have to ask my parts manager.
Yeah. We'll get it worked out.
Not here. American Defense Manufacturing for all my rifle needs. They pretty much built me a brand new rifle. Criterion sent them a barrel. They sent me a rifle. It's fantastic. It's the UIC Mod 3. It's got the ambi bolt release and mag release and bolt release on either side. It's fantastic. Built in. Don't need a bad lever anymore. Really cool. A huge shout out to Eagle Imports. My new SPSs should be here this month, I think. I'm really excited about those. Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes, official shotgun choke of 3 Gun Nation. Stage 0 shooting supply, Donnie Flow. If you're interested in getting an SPS 9mm or any really cool gear for your 3-gun needs, check out Donnie Flow and Stage 0 shooting supply. I always have to promote my local gun shop, so shop local. Check out your local gun shop. Mine is The Outdoor Shop, and you can check them out online at theoutdoorshop.rocks, or you can come to little old York, South Carolina, into their little downtown area and check them out for yourself. Huge shout out to True Spec and the awesome gear that they have provided me with this season. Shout out Safari Land, Beyond the Sights, The Shooter's Mindset, and a huge shout out to Red Hill Tactical, who, if you have not seen Heath's post, he didn't want to put it on Team Clevenger, but all his stuff's not private, so it's all public. If you go to his page, you can see how he DQ'd this past weekend at one of our monthly matches for his pistol falling out of his holster. And Red Hill Tactical Robert King up in Maryland is going to hook us up with some retention holsters so that never happens to poor old Heath again with his big boy momentum knocking his gun out of his holster.
I saw that gun wobble. I was like, oh, and there it happened.
You knew it was about to happen. You were like, oh, put your hand on it, hold it. No, oh.
He felt it too. Sometimes people don't even feel it. They just keep running. They don't even know the pistol's like 20 yards back that way. He knew it.
He was the RO for the squad, so as an RO, he always shoots first on the first stage, so that gets it out of the way of having to go first, and then he goes last on every other stage. And so he's the first shooter of the day, first person to go. He shot his shotgun, like he said, or on the pre-show, shot 10 shots out of his shotgun, and then did not shoot any other guns the rest of the match. So
there you go.
I've been there, done that.
And I think we all have been there.
So Red Hill Tactical for your retention holster needs.
There you go. Regina, what do you have? Shout-outs. What do you got?
Well, let's see. I had to write them down because I always forget somebody. Spartan Precision Rifles, they've been building my gun since 2011. Vortex Optics, they take awesome care of me. I've been shooting for them for about a year and a half. Macmillan Group International, I just recently added on, along with Connex Media and Contingency X, so they can make me famous. Voodoo Tactical, Rifles Only, Defiance Machine, Butch's Reloading, so I can finally get powder. Hawk Hill Barrels, Patriot Cases, Original SWAT Boots, Weebad, Storm Tactical Data Books, Light React, MGM Targets, Sierra Bullets, and True Spec.
Yeah, true spec. Whoop, whoop, finally.
Partner.
Yeah, I like their accent.
That 5'11" stuff, those yogis.
Nobody wants to see me in those yoga pants. No way. I'll be as long as I'm not showing the wrong kind of cleavage when I'm bent over, I'm good. And the true spec pants are doing that now. So.
Hey, Jen wears those
some yogis, but
Jen wears those 5'11" yogis pretty well.
I was say, Jen, you weren't about some yogas, and then you got some yogis, and you were
Because
like,
I swore I was never going to wear them because I'm 40 years old and I have 3 teenagers. But then I tried a pair on, and my gun belt didn't move, and I could move around a whole lot easier, and it was the most comfortable thing I'd ever worn. And I decided I really didn't care what anybody thought about what my butt looks like. I really don't.
I'll say you could roundhouse kick somebody in the face with those yogis on.
I could.
All right. Shout out to my end. Just definitely want to thank Regina for coming on. Thank you for sharing some wisdom here on the Shooter's Mindset, episode 137. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, I've learned a lot.
Yeah, we did. I think you all kind of.
I could sit here for 4 hours and pick your brain.
Yeah, I think we're all definitely a little bit more interested. I definitely want to do it. I was interested, but now I definitely want to get out there.
Now I definitely want to get into it. I'm so maintenance free. Well, not totally maintenance free, but
There's still some OCD involved.
Yeah. Definitely want to give a shout out to Tactical Shit. Check them out at shop.tacticalshit.com when you're shopping around. They're a big supporter of 3-gun sports and shooting sports in general. Subscribe to the channel. Right below the video, you're going to see a subscribe button. Hit that every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We got a new episode of the Shooter's Mindset. I throw on some competition shooting videos, some gear reviews. Definitely check out theshootersmindset.com. Got articles coming up there. We got some writers coming on. And we're going to be posting all the Shooter's Mindset stuff over there. So it's going to be a good time. Everything's in one spot. No need, the link's over here, the link's over here. It's just theshootersmindset.com for now. So it's going to be great. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com. It's a good way to do that. A couple shout-outs here. Rise Armament, Dewey rods. I mean, if you're a PRS shooter, you got to have a fantastic rod. All right, Dewey rods is where you're going to get that fantastic rod out. All right, S3F Solutions, fine Glock barrels. I'm shooting 2016. I'm shooting in all my Glocks. They'll have S3F Solutions barrels in it. There you go. CarbonArms.us for all your caddy gear, AR-15 parts. They have it all over there. Nate Square Tactical concealment CCW holsters. They're like the go-to. Check out Nate Square Tactical. It's n82tactical.com if you're looking for a new CCW holster. TaranTacticalInnovations.com and Rand CLP. All right, if you want some Rand CLP, let me know. I'll get you.
Yeah.
I'll get you sent over. Hey, endorsed by Vikings Tactics. I'll tell you about it. Be my friend, and we can talk about some Rand CLP. All right.
You got to message him, be his BFF.
Yeah, friend me on the Facebooks. All right, I think that'll do it here. That'll conclude episode 137 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 9.